zone. Both fighters have plenty of time. Where is this match going to go? You can use a drive punch like that there to maintain the pressure. Knockdown. They're being absolutely relentless with this fireball pressure in the corner.
Bot Rix has successfully joined the channel.
Player 2 creates a good corner in a dire situation. They can't afford any mistakes. Burnout activates. Can't tech the throw. Player 1 is going to have to wait for that drive stage. Can they stick it out? In with snake step. Player 2 hits up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. They both showed their hands a little bit, so they must be thinking of a counter. Things are slow going right now, but we may see someone speed things up. Both fighters want to establish themselves early on. Okay, drive rush to keep it going. Jump! Springs forward with the drive. Player 1 can't use any... Oh, burnout triggered! Player 1 has an empty drive. This is a very precarious situation. Breaks the block with a throw. Max he pumps the brakes on the impact. Player 1 has depleted their drive, but they are still within range to win this round. Oh, super arcade! Player 2 brings it home. Let's see if they can build themselves a streak. How is this match going to play out? Are we going to witness a blow-up here? No more drive. Takes them all the way to the corner with that. Blocks to jump in. Player 1 in that dangerous burnout. One fighter's drive gauge is just about empty. Can they recover or are they in trouble? Uses the drive rush here to steal their turn. At this range, many attacks will connect if you kick something out. The neutral game is very important. Throws them to negate the block. Coming up next. Getting into the end game now. It's getting tense. Throws the fireball here. Maybe every single delivers the pain right to the doorstep. Does a good job of pushing back. Charges forward. No right left. They've got to mind the drive to pursue. Super clutch corner. Will we see a drive in?
Bruh, we actually get this character now. I just have to go with my man. Hey man, she go with my man. Lose it! Oh my god. What is happening? Did I use it? Of course I haven't used it. What? What? Mechanic car for the go. What? Mechanic car for the go. Yo, what's up, man? The bus.
So I've been writing down. That's right. The most toxic characters, the most dick-filleting place down. They like up and down like I've ever seen, and they come like that. I feel like they're not fucking here. They look so fucking. What? It's not like they're playing fucking music. They're like, you gotta go to my country. Like, I can make sound. I can it's like, I'm releasing stance maybe that's
Oh my god.
only thing that needs a lot of this is like everything when I run is so fucking entitled. It's ridiculous. And so far, it's probably so as a good thing or bad thing, but you need to get sacrificed.
Wow. I disagree. The last thing I'd say. No, no, wow, what the this one?
I don't see the gaps in the gameplay. Yeah, it's like it's homing plus unlock, and the frame traveling plus unlock. My God, I had my lunch. Here's my Discord chat. You know, so I've never lied. It's always some games. Yeah. Well, at least I know the down squat I did was good. After down by 4, I was like down 4, and that's gonna kill. I went down by 4, and like 4 HP, and I got a standing 4, and I was really more serious. And I increased that thing. Does it cost to plate from the back of the Can you guys see it?
Practice. Training. Small Hall Arena.
待ってたわ。楽しませてよね。
どうしたのかな。
Our fighters are ready to lay it all on the line. Let's see what they try to do here in the first round. Player 2 pushes the opponent into the corner. Capitalizes on every mistake and picks up the perfect KO. Player 2 picks up the always important first round. They'll want to keep the ball rolling. Everything up until now, and everything from here on out is so vital. Medium kick hits. Continue the attack with the drive. Player 1 is barely flawless. They got him so quick. Well, listen, when you're locked in, you're locked in. That was a decisive win.
Here comes a new challenger.
Oh, looks like these two have more beef than a Philly cheesesteak.
Round 1. Fight.
Let's see what they try to do here in the first round.
There's no way this somebody a block like him an idiot. A jump, okay.
Service is the fact the objectives to take down the country and everything have 12 also from is that there is no magic. I simply say it's false, that it's terrible. At the White House,
Me hate that side here.
It's not true. It's also it's good about it. I understand how hard it is to put together. It wasn't the same. So every day lots of great shots. Some great in America. It was over the top. It was totally. It was conservative. It's reality. And I don't think what they're actually thinking. So you got this red sky. It's a bit of a great again. He's vomiting on his head. He's having a heart attack. It's not like it's going to be everything. Reasons why a lot of people thought that having UFC fight behind the White House was in for business. And so you know it's on the guy with the not someone that says something that's horrible. I don't like it, right? About horrible wrestling. And the White House, the president, nobody has the touch for these. That's the thing sad. Yeah, I would say actually. That's funny about it. Everywhere except something for positive. I guess because we'll have a policy. There's some things that's pretty easy. Tweeted, she posted a meme about her having snuck into the Oval Office and used Joe Biden's idle pen to depart people. Donald Trump reposted that. In February, he reposted another smear of her that says she was an anti-white racist. And Don Jr. himself, 2 years ago, on Trans Visibility Day, posted this very same meme that this guy expressed the other night, that Michelle Obama was trans. And he did not condemn it then. He cannot condemn it now. So he is involved in it.
They believe that this is something that's near and dear to the hearts of their base, and so they coddle it.
I think not apologize.
Exactly what's going on.
What Democrat apologized for when Tim Walz and all these elected Democrats on the campaign trail were pumping out the Katie Vance was having sex with Harry, which is an equally absurd, ridiculous story.
Tonight, I agree. And also, this on that. I thought it always thought that the houses on floor, especially of people seeking a high office. I will say one thing. Michelle Obama is a former first lady, okay? She's a former first lady, period. So, to me, it's not that hard to say, don't do it. But again, to Charles' point, this is the same president who posted the image of Obama and the Obamas as not a long time ago, and he didn't apologize for it. This line of attack against Michelle Obama has been going on in right-wing extremist circles for years and years.
Jump!
He wants to confront it because it would mean confronting part of his base. He doesn't want to condemn it or apologize for that because he thinks that shows weakness. But all I'm saying is this. Whenever there is a Democrat back in the White House and they invite Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro stands in the White House and starts talking about what Melania Trump did, I don't want anything. So remain silent right now, raising their hand and saying nothing. Because it's got to, it's things that are just condemnable. These are the same people who want a comedian fired because of a lame joke about Melania Trump. And yet, they don't have the guy said he had the balls to host the UFC, but he doesn't have the balls to condemn what is clearly. What do you think with the court lawyer said about all of this? How do you suppose she's close?
I do think Trump is denounced. And anybody associated with it has to be denounced. When you have that on the White House lawn, it goes down. I don't care what you think about the Obamas right there. That has to be an immediate denounce. Like, yeah, well, doesn't speak for me. Trump should denounce it. He said, I was totally wrong. All the people there seem to love it. I have no problem with it. I think it finally is still good. If you are upset about the accident event, if you're gonna do it, own it and be like, you know, that guy was wrong. It should never happen.
Not only has this comment been gathered this event right about the time everybody started, and there was a pretty incredible flyover that took place for the event. This has now completely overshadowed it, and it's so simple to just condemn this comment. And Dave Kono speaks to some space. If he can do it, I mean, it seems like this is so simple, and we're all in a movement. It can look like this comment. I mean,
Just my guys, the Michigan man, so there's no surprise there. I honestly think that both parties took a little bit of their.
Oh, we're not going to equalize here. No, we're not going to equalize.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying both parties.
Both parties saying that.
The point is both parties use their policy orientation a bit closer to Dave Portnoy.
No.
Just trying to be specific with it here. These guys are conventional conservatives. And my simple point to you guys is Portnoy is correct.
Historical reason that this is a problem. And this is why Donald Trump should not get a good their existence was in a front. And at the very beginning, you say, what's the politics? You try to figure out things about it. But it got very personal, and it got down to identity and thinking, whether or not these black people were who they said they were, and were they legitimate at all. And all sorts of, are they terrorists, or are they Christians, or were they born here, all sorts of things. And then when he got into office, we got past that, so not campaigning anymore. Everything he did.
I think my 5 men actually. She has everything. She has speed, she has pressure, she has projectile. You know what I'm now?
It was probably the rough. The Oval Office has it on? Okay, so the plan is that all the it's negative comment was made about the maybe remove that chain and let John show the
Kansas Owens so much of not years been spreading this about the
and Trump's condemned that explicitly.
That's the point. Exactly, that's the point. Yeah.
I didn't say she could never talk
He gets called a man. Then so when the lady gets called a man, he says shit.
I don't think Trump's happening. No taxpayer. Thanks, Lloyd.
Idiot! Stop it! Stop it!
The new report in the office what is your contract for us today?
Oh my God. What? Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
Taxpayers and split the bill. I don't understand why a man with $7 billion who has seen
Oh my God.
in the last year.
Like me just not in the book app, you know. Like, bro, nah.
It's just completely out of touch and elitist. And I will note, though, there is a need for an upgraded space at the White House to host events. I'm not willing to dispute that. I just think that the way that he has gone about this and messaged it is completely out of touch. I mean, so many people are struggling right now, and at a time when gas prices are skyrocketing, grocery prices are yet to come.
like 50 cents or less.
But we're going to see them.
Oil $72 a barrel.
Well, it's still going to be high for the next few months because it's not going to come down immediately if they negotiate the deal.
Over
And listen, I don't think we talk gas prices are high. I know you want to talk about that right now. I talk about but let's honor his promise that it would be excited about London. What Sarah's talking about, because again, this is about a year, or maybe less than a year, after a whole bunch of talk about government waste, fraud, and about things that have been spent on country time that shouldn't have been spent there, about a lack of oversight, about pet projects by partisans. How does this not count as that? And there's a clear lack of transparency on this issue. Trump wanting to create a ballroom really for his own advantage.
So to answer her question, and to then your build-off point there, again, answering it directly to she made. So it'd be really hungry for the administration to do a bit of, man, we're going to pay for it all, and then turn around all these rich people and run for the American people. Here's the issue, though. In the Senate bill itself, and I know because I've read the entire bill, I mean, in the bill itself, you cannot use any of these funds to fall in style for whatever bill you obviously expenses much. Well, raise the eyebrows, but in this case, you do not breathe it out and it's rushed to the story just sent on the White House. They're actually just getting there. So the contract report. Hold on, the first thing is that Senate money, that congressional money, is no longer. They're not doing it. It's not in the bill, right? So the second thing is, Trump said this would be $300 million paid for by him at this point. It turns out that's only half of the money. Other taxpayers is coming from the taxpayers. How do you explain that? Again, so the President of the United States made it clear that he decided the ball to himself, like the actual ball, intersect back and forth through glass windows, and then bought by private donations that they got to the warehouse for certain aspects. But it's interesting that people are going to be okay with this idea that, okay, the furniture and the lighting, that's going to be paid for by the private friends. But everything else will be paid for by you, and it just don't help you. He said that this would be 100% privately funded, that it costs $0 to taxpayers. I see the point that you're making, but he tried to sell it that way to the American people, and that's just not the truth. And instead of being the one to now put up the he's going to spend taxpayers.
Oh my god.
It doesn't seem like a fair thing.
In the press? Oh my god.
Never spent money. The first thing is that Senate money, that Congress actually is no longer. They're not doing it. It's not a thing. So the second thing is, there's Trump said $1 million paid for by the business. It turns out that's only half of the money. The other half of the money is coming from the taxpayers. How do you explain that?
Again, so the President of the United States made it clear inside the ball stuff. Like the actual ball, inside pocket, both of these glass windows, they can't be bought by private nations that come out of the warehouse and through certain aspects.
So you really think that people are going to be okay with this idea that, hey, the furniture and the lighting...
Stop jumping, bitch.
Everything else should be paid for by you, it just won't help you. He said that this would be 100% privately funded, that it costs $0 to the taxpayers. I've seen a point that you're making, but he tried to sell it one way to the American people, and that's just not the truth. And instead of being the one to now put up the money, he's going to sink taxpayers with the bill, and that just doesn't seem like a fair thing for taxpayers to do. But that's sort of American television smart. I don't understand, because I think I'd rather see my taxpayer dollars go toward literally anything else but this. From the beginning, this has been a terrible, non-transparent bill. Remember, the photos explained like the shocking the world almost the White House Historical Association, the National President, all these people going, oh my God, there is a process for this. This administration refused to bypass that process because he said, I'm going to do what I want to do. So now, possible round.
Am I jumping too much?
It's not going to cost you anything. No. It's going to cost $200 million. $200 million. This government decides. This whole BS about the toll and on the top and all that. 10 months later, after Trump is obsessed with this, every single suffering. You went to the next day the other week. I understand that I want to see the first family and the president be safe. Of course, I pray for their safety. That is not something we can all agree on at this table. But this researcher journalist to say that support this ballroom. He initially wanted it for vanity, but yes, I agree. There is a heightened threat against him, and that is something that we could all just spin and he's going to like state. He shouldn't be doing those things.
You say you want them to be safe, but you also say you want your tax dollars to go for anything else other than this. The truth is, the bunker below it. The truth is, we're forgetting the fact that is part of it.
He never brings that up.
There's two parts of the project. There's the social space, which I think you acknowledge is needed, and now they're going to have to build that. And then there,
proper process to get it approved.
Then there is the security space. I read the Washington Post reporting on this tonight. 3 experts who reviewed the documents related to the project said it was appropriate for the Secret Service and the White House Military Office to pay for parts of the project that fall within their mission.
Oh, nobody's
the mission is keep the first family in the White House safe.
Where is the telling the truth part to the American public? That's the issue. Is that when Trump says, I'm initiating this project and it's not going to cost you anything, and then it ends up costing $300 million in taxpayer funds, that's being deceptive.
I think they should tell the American people every single dollar that's going into this, private and public, and I think they ought to tell the American people exactly why and how this is going to be done. Here, this is one business. There's a reason.
A great cost exactly because actually, in the litigation that's ongoing, it's one of the big issues is that that's in the plain text of the law that they do have to do to authorize major projects at the White House. And they do not do it. So they're going to have to answer for why they defied the law and then are trying to spend $300 million in taxpayers' funds. The White House is told the development project of $600 million. More than half of that coming in the taxpayers. Since the term is alive, the state probably remember. And my question then is, why is it Trump the one trying to? If it's going to cost $300 million for taxpayers, then he's going to stick the bill. I don't understand why a man with $7 billion who has seen $3 billion in the last year because he's propping off the presidency can't be the one to flip the bill given time when so many Americans have struggling. It's just completely out of touch with the news. And I really hope that it's a big deal on the White House to host tonight. I'm not willing to speak about it. I just think that the really has gone about this and since then, basically, how much problems. I mean, so many people are struggling right now, and out of time, gas prices are skyrocketing, grocery prices are yet to come. But we're going to see that. Oil $73. Well, it's still going to be high for the next few months because it's not going to be that immediately. They go back to the gas prices are high. I don't like what Sarah's talking about because, again, this is about after a whole bunch of talk about government waste, fraud, and about things that are being spent on taxpayer bond, about a lack of oversight, about pet projects by partisans. How does this not come about when there's a clear lack of transparency on this issue of Trump wanting to create a volume for his own advantage?
To answer your question, again, the bottom point there, the answer would be direct policy measures. It's kind of weird for the administration because, yeah, we're going to pay for it all, and then they have all these rich people that run the American people. Here's this, and this Senate on the section, I know, because I don't know. You go and say, you cannot explain to funds of food. You try to spend as much. That brings the argument, most of it just gives you not even get out.
White House. They're actually pretty completely different things. So the contract report about the first thing is that that's selling that is spending the money is no longer. They're not doing it. So the second thing is Trump said this would be $800 billion paid for by the It turns out that's only half. Already half of the money is coming from the taxpayers. How do you explain that? Again, so the President of the United States inside of the money stuff. Like the actual ball inside market overseas buys windows and bought by the donations that the government has to increase the gas prices. But the next thing that people are going to be okay with this idea that hey, the furniture, the lighting, that's going to be paid for something.
What time I do that? I need to do the low.
Just won't tell you. He said that this is 100% right. He decided that it costs $0 to the taxpayers. I see the point that you're making. But he tried to sell it one way to the American people, and that's just not the truth. And instead of being the one to put up the money, he's going to send taxpayers to the bill. And that just doesn't seem like a fair thing. Taxpayers, right? And I don't understand because I think I would rather see my taxpayer dollars go for quite literally anything else like this. From the beginning, this has been a terrible shocking. That is something we can all agree on at this table. But it is disingenuous to say that that is the reason for this ballroom. He initially wanted it for a vanity project. And yes, I agree, there is a heightened threat against him, and that is something that we will be cognizant of. And he should be going to his games. He should be doing those things.
You say you want them to be safe, but you also said you want tax dollars to go for anything else other than this. The train is truth is that we're forgetting the fact that that is part of this. There's two parts of it, right? There's the social space, which I think you acknowledge is needed, and now they're going to have to build that.
And we begin with breaking news. Iran says it has closed the Strait of Hormuz to shipping, citing a breach of commitments by the US and ongoing Israeli attacks in Lebanon. Ships have been passing through the strait since earlier this week after the US and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding. Before that, it had been closed to the Iran-US war, leading to fuel shortages in parts of the world. Earlier, Israeli strikes in Lebanon killed at least 16 people, according to Lebanese civil defense. The attacks hit the southern town of Nabatea and nearby villages, and came just hours after the ceasefire with Hezbollah took effect. Israel said it was in response to Hezbollah firing more than 50 projectiles at Israeli forces in southern Lebanon overnight. Israel said the Hezbollah attacks were violated the ceasefire agreement. And to shed some light on all this, let's bring in our famous judges, Professor of Middle Eastern Politics, International Relations at the University of Economics. So welcome to have you on the program. So, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz again. How serious is that, especially now behind these effective peace negotiations?
I think it's really serious, and it tells you how fragile the frame of understanding between the United States and Iran. And Lebanon has emerged as one of the most important stumbling blocks between the United States and Iran. The reality is Iran's strategy now is to want to make sure that the United States lives up to its commitment. And its commitment is to basically exert pressure on Israeli Prime Minister to be able to see. Yet, as we know, Israel has rejected the framework agreement between the United States and Iran. The Israeli Prime Minister and his defense minister have made it very clear. Their forces will remain in Lebanon. They will not basically leave the huge security zone they have established in Lebanon. They will not allow almost 400,000 Lebanese displaced people to retain their homes. And finally, this is a very important point, Monica. In the past 3 days, since the ceasefire, since the agreement was signed between the United States and Iran, the Israeli army has been trying to expand its security zone in Beirut and basically occupy the strategic hill called Adi Mahar near Al-Nawaqiyah. And most of the battles that have been taking place in the past few days are basically around this particular strategic hill, because what Israel is trying to do is to consolidate its security zone in Lebanon. And the fact is, I mean, think about the government. Israel says Hezbollah violates the ceasefire. In southern Lebanon, Israel controls now 8 kilometers of Lebanon. Yet Hezbollah is supposed not to respond to Israel's further incursion and expansion of its security zone. So all in all, without the intervention of President Trump, without President Trump really willingness to exert pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, I fear that the framework of agreement between the United States and Iran could easily basically break down for good.
So basically what you're saying is that Tehran is holding Donald Trump, the US, Washington, accountable for Israel's actions. Now, Washington has already criticized Israel, but to no avail. What can they do?
I think we need to understand for our own viewers, why does Iran insist on the ceasefire in Lebanon? Not only because Iran has a very organic link to Hezbollah. Hezbollah is part and parcel of Iran's what we call regional allies in the Middle East. I think the ceasefire in Lebanon will convince Iran that President Trump is serious about the framework of agreement. There's deep mistrust of President Trump. And unless President Trump respects his commitment and obligations under the framework of agreement, Iran realizes that then they could really no longer trust President Trump to really proceed in the negotiations about Iran's nuclear program. So they want to see, ironclad commitment by President Trump to basically tell Israeli Prime Minister enough is enough. The war in southern Lebanon has to end. I mean, just to give you our viewers a glimpse of what has happened yesterday, according to Lebanon's health authorities, 47 Lebanese civilians were killed and 90 injured in 24 hours. Today, Israel killed 16 Lebanese civilians and injured schools. The war has never stopped in Lebanon. In fact, there is escalation.
Well, I have just one quick question. If Israel stopped its attacks on southern Lebanon, would Hezbollah also stop? Just a brief answer, please.
You know, Monica, you'll be surprised. Hezbollah basically has accepted the ceasefire. Hezbollah is desperate to end the war. Hezbollah has made it very clear. If Israel stops its attacks, its expansion of its security zone, Hezbollah basically wants the war to end. But you see, what Israel is trying to do is to say, well, it's Hezbollah is violating the ceasefire because Hezbollah is firing on our forces while we are trying to expand our security zone in Lebanon. I mean, it's illogical and irrational what Israelis are trying to do.
Okay, so that story is to be continued, no doubt. Thomas Judge is there, Professor of Middle Eastern Politics and International Relations at the London School of Economics. Thank you so much.
A senior Israeli official says that Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to an immediate ceasefire. West Egyptian Congress, 2 sources from Hezbollah have also confirmed the ceasefire. to Reuters. Now, it comes as Lebanon's health minister says at least 37 people killed after a series of Israeli airstrikes. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says that Hezbollah will pay a heavy price following the deaths of IDF soldiers. Fighting in Lebanon is seen as a threat to the ceasefire deal signed this week by the U.S. and Iran. The first talks outlining that agreement were set to begin today in Switzerland, but have been postponed. With President Trump and the Iranian foreign minister have traded blows on social media less than 2 days after the deal was signed. I spoke earlier to our correspondent in Ukraine, where she told me more about reports of an Israeli Hezbollah ceasefire.
There's little information to this official information from, we didn't hear yet from the defense minister or from Israel's prime minister, although he had come out earlier paying condolences in a statement to 4 Israeli soldiers killed overnight, and also praising the IDF carrying out attacks in Lebanon overnight. But we're hearing in the Israeli media this ceasefire is gone into effect at around 12 p.m. time. And obviously, we now need to see whether this will hold, because this came after an escalation over the past 24 hours between Israel and Hezbollah. 4 Israeli soldiers were killed. The Israeli carried out attacks for over 150 targets, and also we hearing from the Lebanese health ministry at least 47 people were killed in Lebanon. Now, we could understand from sources here that this is a formula that goes quiet for quiet. So if Israel doesn't attack, Hezbollah don't attack, and vice versa. We've seen that before. But it doesn't mean, from what we understand, that Israel actually will withdraw from these, what they describe as security zones. These are zones the IDF published a map last night showing where the Israeli military is currently deployed. It's about 10 kilometers inside Lebanon. Israeli military occupies the territory. So they won't withdraw from that as part of the ceasefire, but it's very important, because Iran has said the fighting needs to stop as part of this review. So that means, that needs to happen for this to move forward.
Tanya, thank you very much for bringing us up to date. What's going on in Jerusalem?
Okay, joining me now, it is Sf6 Modern
Bro, them said better play the other thing, but classic player, it's worse, I swear. That's not my
contested by fighting between Israel and Hezbollah. Now we've got reports that Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire. In your opinion, is this a sustainable way to peace?
No, but we have to get used to it. I don't think that the next 60 days will be smooth sailing. I think we will have a lot of stop and starts due to the situation in Lebanon. We've been through this process of ceasefires being announced and then renounced, if you want, by renewed fighting, skirmishes. Israel does not seem, as your correspondent noted, to be willing to withdraw from the sizable amount of Lebanese territory it is occupying in the last 12 months. That was one Iranian request. So at some point they will have to work out what goes on in Lebanon and advance the negotiations with Iran and the US, which are of course related to different matters. The Iranian nuclear program primarily.
How much control does Washington really have over Israel's next move?
Well, I think that Israel clearly will use it as spoiling. It is the ace in the hole, if you want, that Netanyahu has to influence in some way the Iran-US talks. That can happen in a variety of manners. They should use it to understand that.
agreement tilts towards sanctions for Iran's particularly nuclear issue, then Israel will maybe mandate agents in Lebanon to steer it back towards an arrangement that it seems it finds more suitable and amenable. I don't think that Israel will keep to the not just, as they said, a ceasefire, but also withdrawal from occupied Lebanese territory. And I thought we also have to bear in mind that, of course, ceasefire in Lebanon means an end to the activities of Hezbollah as well. Hezbollah has shown some prowess in executing Israeli forces. Just today, for the Israeli soldiers dead, which is quite a high toll. So the situation there, I think, remains very restless and complicated. Israeli officials have signaled that they're worried that Iran will use money that's being freed up, unfrozen assets from the deal with the U.S. to increase its financial support for proxies such as Hezbollah. Ask you, why would Iran not do that?
What a patience. You have like a friend.
Political and from the economic capital of Hezbollah, as we can see, falling slope on its demands. And intriguingly, if you've noticed, there's nothing about Palestine. Despite the fact that Palestine has been always an Atlantic vibe for these conflicts in the past 4 or 5 decades. And a lot of this has so much emphasis and so much effort in Palestine and Lebanon. So clearly, Iran's taking strategic decisions. It's not just Hezbollah is the last element standing of what we used to call the axis of resistance. Iran is very careful to prevent a sort of weakening of Hezbollah and assist Hezbollah holding the current ground to the extent it can against Israel. So clearly, this will be political but also economic capital possible.
Politics. Military pressure on Iran still. Diplomacy is happening only because North reached its limits. Is that the lesson in all of this?
Well, if you look at diplomacy, the way Iran has agreed to major international for the people's presidents to program elements, for example, the Iran report in 1988, nuclear deal of a decade ago, and then this one. There's always an element, there's always an conservative element, namely that Iran needs to accede to the deal because it is in the top 5, because there's an RBA, because there's this 10 years ago because of sanctions. Iran has declared itself that there's a $300 billion infrastructure bill. Clearly that has an important emphasis in the memorandum of understanding. A couple of days ago, Khalibov, the chief Iranian negotiator, said that it's time to move from the battlefield to economic infrastructure. It's not being able to entirely the point that the Iranian nuclear program the past 30 years has had a lot of cost and labor to gain. And the reason the Iranian defensive want in the past 40 days has been through non-nuclear. So there is, I think, in Iran a big thing that they need to move beyond the balance and want to focus on economic infrastructure. That can only come to the
They're going to be down in some watch doesn't story that lecture at the university or lectures about what Iranians want freedom. It's good to have you with us. Good to have you back on the program. We have seen a lot of moving parts this week. State of the art. What the? Today, the society by Israel and Iran because both of these agreements are very fragile. Do you think that they are the right steps to lasting?
How much is this? Bro, we're ready for this shit.
It's fragile and it's a piece. I mean, I don't think they're so fragile as to wait like next week. But obviously, they're often not really keeping these frameworks. They're really available to just keep the talks going on for the next few weeks, next 2 years. So I think we both sides is because the talks never that to keep the talks as well. You can reach that thing in good of if the sanctions and around the exchange enough limits that is nuclear program that would satisfy the United States. That remains to be seen.
firstly, antagonism hostility between Iran and Israel is not something that's going to go away anytime soon.
You see, because Israel said yes to reduce suicide now. So is there possibly pressure coming from both Washington and Tehran?
There's pressure from both sides, but also militarily, there's not a whole lot either side can really advance. Hezbollah is very helpless. There has very cards to play. It's really
just stand up there.
survival. And it's kind of keeping its place in Lebanon in any way that it can. It's in a very precarious position. And even the Lebanese Shia as a whole have sort of a new position of precarity in Lebanon, especially. There seems to be supporting Hezbollah and blaming the conflicts with Israel and the Shia and Hezbollah. And Israel also knows that it doesn't have an easy way of doing something about that. And it doesn't want the wrath of President Trump for blaming them for breaking down the MOU. That explains why they accepted the
The U.S.-Iran deal establishes a 60-day window to tackle issues that were not addressed in the deal this week. I know that you have said that this is a tactical pause. What do you mean with that?
Well, that means that they wanted the war to end. And the terms for Iran is all Iran has to do is to go back to before the war, where it wasn't because of the Strait of Hormuz. But it would get something it didn't have before the war. By release of its assets, by relaxation of the ban on its oil sales, subsidized oil sales. So, then there was the opportunity to talk. Now, there are many in the Iranian leadership who do want trade with the United States. They are pretty excited, probably, to the vice president brazenly against Israel, for example, and to positively of Iran. The other President Trump is praised their leadership. The Vice President Vance said, they come to us like an own country, just as equal as Israel. So they have something positive going on for them. The question is whether they can take that leap of faith to go into economic.
Bro, this is my main now. I actually find my main character that's different. It was a saga. Saga too slow. We don't say the saga. Saga too slow for me. Bro, but my load here, I want to talk about my show load here. My show load here.
I think we should just compare it to previous to war, but like to 4 or 5 years ago, when Iran controlled 4 out of 100,000 Muslims about it, the axis of resistance is severely weakened if you compare it to that. And also the other thing that is very interesting is that, okay, let's say they're using this strength to get better terms. But these terms are for regions in the United States, and these deals, if they go ahead and if they lead to functioning ties, themselves really under it's a buying, it's a regime is in.
It's easy. It works typically to talk this Friday night.
Idiots. That jump tools, yo. Oh my god.
Now, immediately after the attacks, air traffic communications incoming flights were diverted to other airports. Hours later, the airport operations have been now partially resumed. However, the rate Bahrain also reported attacks. It's no doubt that Korean missiles and several cities targeting student and the facilities were intercepted. What? Countries in Iran.
The General Command of the Bahrain Defense Forces announces Iran continuing its systematic hostility through its military using
Oh my god, make shit them cards.
civilian facilities in the Kingdom of Bahrain.
Now the attacks mark one of the most serious challenges against the fragile ceasefire that has been in place since April. Iran, however, said its actions were a response to American aggression.
I ain't forgetting that.
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, claimed U.S. forces first targeted an Iranian oil tanker near the Strait of Hormuz. The group said the strike damaged the tanker's engine room. Iran also accused the United States of attacking a communications tower on Kashin Island. Tehran said it responded by targeting U.S. military assets in the region. However, Washington disputed those claims. U.S. Central Command said all three attacks reached their targets. According to CENTCOM, the three missiles fired towards Kuwait fell short or blew apart in flight. And three missiles aimed at Bahrain were intercepted by U.S. and Bahraini air defenses. But as the military exchange intensified, the war of words grew sharper. Iran's foreign ministry accused Kuwait and Bahrain of helping U.S. military operations. Tehran said
Oh my god.
against Iran, and warned that any future aggression could be met with further retaliation. The escalation has also cast a shadow over diplomatic efforts. Iranian officials say contacts with Washington have slowed down, but they insist talks have not stopped completely.
The red lines that the Supreme Leader insists are on the agenda. We will negotiate if necessary, but we do not trust any promises for the Americans. They committed crimes against us in the most brutal way possible.
So at the same time, hardline leaders in Iran are calling for a tougher response against the United States. Iran's foreign minister has also held urgent talks with officials from France, Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, there are also signs that diplomatic channels remain open. Trump said he would like to meet Iran's leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Speaking to the New York Post's Thought Force One, Trump said a meeting could take place at some point, depending on how it goes. The report comes as Washington and Tehran continue to explore possible to the escalation like research across West Asia.
Oh my god.
Israel continued its strikes across southern Lebanon. Several people were killed, including civilians. Hezbollah said it launched multiple attacks on Israeli forces in southern Lebanon. Iran has warned that expanding Israeli operations in Lebanon could further complicate contacts with Washington. For now, the crisis is spreading beyond its original battlefield. From the Strait of Hormuz to Kuwait, Bahrain, and southern Lebanon, tensions are rising on multiple fronts. While diplomatic channels remain open, the latest both sides standing firm fears of a wider conflict in West Asia continues. Now for more on this, we have with us Tefi Yahuda, who is a geopolitics expert and former diplomat and author, joining us live from London. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Katira, here we go again. Just as Trump said 2 days ago, he expects the deal, and I quote, this was 2 days ago, over the next week. Here we have a wave of fresh attacks, and this time it comes with casualties. How fragile is this negotiation right now?
I think it's very fragile. I think the core issue that's making it fragile at the moment is
Lebanon online.
Even though they've refrained from attacking Beirut. So this is something that
no one is online. Now what the heck? So many people are.
Hezbollah is their strategic ally, and they don't want to neutralize. Iran essentially won the war against the US in a strategic sense, and it knows that the US is more averse to returning to war than itself. So, and it also knows that the US doesn't even have the weapons to do so because of depletion in Ukraine. So it wants to leverage that in order to protect Lebanon. But of course, you've got Israel, which needs to significantly damage Hezbollah in order for Netanyahu to claim at least one victory from this Iran war, because Israel's really faced losses in terms of Iran being strengthened in the US region, the Gulf states pushed against the ocean in Tel Aviv, and Iran going with inflict significant damage on Israel. So Netanyahu really needs to get this one win before we can actually end this.
That's an interesting point because I've had other analysts just this week saying that Trump actually has quite a strong swing when it comes to convincing Netanyahu to stop the advance in Lebanon, but it doesn't seem from what we're seeing right now that Netanyahu is taking Trump's threats seriously. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I think the problem is you have this drastic situation where the United States have a contest between those who support Netanyahu for a moment and Trump's person into power. And so it's the science between these two philosophies that has succeeded through actually begins because the focus on this is stronger than Trump's own power. And you see that again when you're defining from Trump's claim that he seems to be agreed to most percent by it's one side from the states of civil force, it's coming out from Washington, which is Iran's strategic power, which produces missile defense force and the location of design that Israel to recognize.